Hey everybody, Doofus Bob here. Welcome back. We're going to continue our Battle of Hoth terrain build here. Just want to take a minute to, we got some more subscribers. I think we're up to 30 now. Honestly, I was surprised if I'd get 2 or 3. So welcome. Thank you for subscribing. I think there's some comments in there. I'm going to answer those here shortly later today. Just been busy at work. So the time distance between this episode and the last one is quite a bit, almost half a month, because if you're in the Midwest in the United States, it's really cold, and this man cave is in my basement, and I've got a heater over there I can turn on, but whew, my electric bill will be crazy. I already looked. It's the my my bill for January is probably going to be like $400. So trying to minimize that because the next step is painting. Got our paints here. And in order for paint to stick to surfaces well, you got to be within the recommended temperature range. Now, this is acrylic, water, and PVA glue, polyvinyl alcohol glue. I'm sniffling because of all the dust. So when we're putting that on, if it's too cold down here, it's gonna be a problem. It's about 65 down here right now. It's not too bad, but um, it was down into 50s. I had to put a heater over there for my copper pipes. It's I think this morning was 5 degrees outside. It's been nasty. So, couple things. I'm gonna paint. I'm going to show you the ratio. I've got it written down here. I'm going to do a little bit differently. And you'll notice back in the corner back there, we've got 2 more pieces. I decided that was a little bit too open, the fourth wall and everything. So just real quick this morning, I broke out my hot wire cutter, just like I did all these others in the previous videos. Took me, I don't know, 20 minutes to do that. Just slicing off foam. You can see the other videos for that. I actually had 2 or 3 videos for that. Okay, so we need to get all these foam pieces off, these modular ones, right? And get our little Star Wars Legion figures off. But before we do that, here's the plan. These, whoops, I need to glue that. These pieces here are going to be like a thin black wash. And that way we can go back and we'll add some browns and some reds and some other stuff. And it'll look like rock. And then we'll go over it with white, probably drywall PVA water mix. That's powdered drywall mix. What's the other name for that? Oh, I just had it in my head. Gypsum. That's just called gypsum board. It is the byproduct of, among other things, coal furnaces and mines. So that way, these will look rocky, dark black rock, maybe brown. We'll put some reds in there and some other stuff. And then we'll go add the snow and the ice to it afterwards. But we're going to do a dark undercoating first. Now, put these guys over here. This part, the ground is completely snow and ice. We may have, I don't know if I have a little piece sitting around here. I did, I think I picked it up. But we may have little bits. There's a few little bits here if you can see them. They're really tiny. Of foam that we will paint to look like rocks that will scatter throughout. But remember, this is a glacier. The rocks and the ground are several feet to hundreds of feet below. So the only thing we should be seeing is, sorry, I was rubbing on some foam down there. See, now that's a mistake I could have left in here, or I could have deleted. But I like to show you my mistakes. I didn't clear out the area underneath here, so that as I'm trying to move around, I'm making noise, and it's, a little lesson for you there. Now, we want to make this mostly snow and ice, right? Or like 99.9%, little boulders here and there that they probably kicked up along the way. So where did the boulders come from on top of glaciers if the ground is so far? Well, they come from all this other terrain, wind and in the real world, people driving by, uh, mountain climbing, they knock something off, it tumbles down and ends up in the middle. Wherever it comes from, we'll put a little detail of some rocks there. But this ground glacier here is going to be probably this blue here, which I believe is just, does that have a name? Okay, they call it phthalo blue. This will work for our purposes. We have some black. We'll put a little bit of that in there too. So if you've ever been out on ice, you've seen a lake, and you look down into it, unless you're in the Caribbean or out in like Thailand where the water is so clear blue, you can see sharks and coral many, many feet down. But up north, the water is far more murky, right? So as it freezes and you're looking down, it's pretty. If you can even see to the bottom, it's going to be black. As you rise up, let's say you put a camera down there, you see not Mutual of Omaha. Some of you are too young for that. Planet Earth, David Attenborough, he goes out there and he looks at animals and environments and whatnot. If you look at Arctic and Antarctic areas, as the submersibles are coming up, you're going from a murky black to various dark blues. As you're coming towards the surface, you got lighter blues, and then you end up, at the very surface, you have a blue like this, which I think this is turquoise. So what we're going to do is put down a dark blue coating, and then we'll put in various spots, like up here. So like these crevices here, I want the dark blue to get in there. And then we'll come back over it and do like lighter blues to surface. So like deep in here, we'll probably keep some of the lighter blues, and then we'll pack in some light blues. And then obviously the very top thin layer will be white because that's where the snow is. And we'll put some powdery snow in here to make it look like it fell in. And then on the tops of these, we're going to do that as well. We'll black, make sure we make the rock stand out. Then we'll go back over it once we put the snow material on. Then we'll go back over that, maybe make some rock stand out, go back over it again, put some white on there, the snow. It's going to be a process. It's all going to be, in the video. Now, that's why I make so many videos. I'm doing step by step, and you can see everything I'm doing. Okay? All right. Well, let me get all this cleaned off, and then I'm going to put the camera in a way that you can watch me mix the paint. And another thing I'm going to do, off camera, of course, because you don't want to see me do it, is there's lots of little debris in here from the trench cutting. I'm going to get my wet vac here, wet and dry vac, and I'm going to get all that out of here, because as you're trying to paint over it, it's just going to just clump up on the brush. Okay, so we're back. I got some stuff set up here. I've marked off my frame location here because in the past I have done stuff out of frame, and it's just not a good video. So there's different ratios you can do to this. Because I'm not going to do any spray painting or priming with any spray paints that have a propellant in them that could eat away the foam, we're going to go straight to just glue. Well, a mixture that's mostly paint and water. And then the glue that we do add will thin out and act as a priming for the surface. Now, on the previous one, on the spaceport, because there was spray painting involved, I had a heavier amount of glue in there than I did on the first layer. Sorry, I had a heavier amount of glue on the first layer, and then the subsequent layers were more paint. Okay? So, what do we got here? We got our water. Let's put that there. And we've got our paint, which is behind me, right? And we've got this gigantic thing of Elmer's glue that I bought at, I don't remember where I bought it now. It's probably at a hardware store. Might have been Amazon, but that's too heavy. That's too much liquid for Amazon. That would have charged me a lot of money. So it's probably the hardware store. So what we're going to do is, I'm trying to hold this in camera here. I am going to make probably, we'll do 100 milliliters here first, because that'll make it easy. I've done this mixture on other stuff, so I know it works, but let's just play it on the safe side. We'll do a small amount, put it right here in the middle, see how it looks, and then we'll make some more. And I'll probably do the rest off camera. But so for this mixture, we're going to go up to this mark here. Boy, I tell you what, the zoom on this camera is so bad. This is 100. This is 50. Okay. So what I want to do is I want a 50% paint, and it's going to be 20% glue and 30% water. So I'm going to add the water first. Okay, water is always your solvent. I'm going to go ahead and put that in first. That's 25. This is probably 30. Doesn't have to be exact, but it does make things easier. And then we're going to add, let's do the glue next so we can stir it up. Okay. There it goes. I'm fighting with it. Again, I could have done that off camera and delete it, but what that tells you is you need to keep your orifices clean. And that could have a lot of meanings there. Okay. So since we wanted, and I'm also using this old pot I have. It's stainless steel, so it's going to be easy to mix and nothing's going to stick to it. Okay, so we want to go up to where it says 50 there. Okay. Yeah, that's about right. Actually, it looks like it's over, but it's not. It's fine. Okay, let's just mix that up here. Take your time when the glue and the water part. This is the part where you're gonna get the lumps. The paint is acrylic. Acrylic and PVA will like each other. They'll be fine. Hope you're having a good, what's today? Today's February 6th. My January is pretty good. I had my birthday. People at work, it was awesome. They got donuts, and a couple coworkers took me out to lunch. One coworker at lunch, and then some former coworkers took me out another day. That's always nice. We are now 52 years old. Okay, so you can see here, it's doing pretty good. Oh, you can tell I'm in my 50s because when I stood up, I made sounds. There we go. I also uploaded a short on texturing the ridges. You should check that out. That's pretty good. I thought it came out well. I used my iPhone for that. Some of my first spaceport videos were all done on the iPhone. That was a nightmare. Okay, so now I'm going to dump in a whole bunch of this. Should have been right around 50. Huh. This is interesting. Why is this not dissolving? It's acrylic. It's water soluble. Put a little bit more in there. Maybe I should have shook it up first. There we go. Okay, so I don't know. This may not be the greatest acrylic brand, probably because I got it at the dollar store. If I'm just using something for, base coating and whatnot, don't use your good paint, you know. But I want it a little bit darker, so I'm going to add just a little bit of black. Let's see what that does. And you saw I just spilled a whole bunch on there. So it's okay. We'll smear that around. We're going to paint over it anyway. At this stage, mistakes like this are all right. Later on, once we've got everything, we got to be a little bit more careful. So I think it's because the water was cold. A little bit more dark. Let's see if I can do this without spilling any this time. Let me clean that edge off. Otherwise, you end up like the glue. I don't think you can see it, or maybe you saw it in the beginning, but I got my Darth Vader apron on. I don't want to get it on my Doofus Bob hoodie. Make this more over. Okay, that's more like what I was looking for. Let me make sure you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. A little bit more this way. So you see this color. So if you were looking down into a lake in the dead of winter, you're going to see a dark blue, and we've got some black specks in there, and we've got some lighter specks, and that's pretty much what we wanted. Now, if I cannot duplicate this exact color again, that's okay, because we're going to cover it over anyway. Now, if I was putting on the finishing touches and I got to this color, or if I was mixing a color, I encourage you to write it down on a piece of paper like I had over there. Write down how much you're putting of what each time until you get to the final product of what you want. And then when you go to duplicate it next time, maybe you need to do touch-ups, you'll have it written down. Because I promise you, when you think, oh, I'll remember. No, you won't. You won't. You will never get that color right again. So I did say we were going to use the pot, but it ended up working well in there. So we'll just get rid of that. I think I'm going to go with this small amount first and see how it looks. Different brushes you could use. This one is going to soak up a lot of material, and I don't have a lot here. So let's put that aside. And this one, boy, this is one of those 99-cent brushes you get, made in China. Not that anything made in just because it's made in China is bad, but, All right, let's just start putting this on. Let's focus over here. See, we want to get it into those crevices. We want to get it into all these where we heat treated. Essentially, you're going to just keep going until you don't see any more pink. Now, already you can see we have some variation in color. For this particular project, that's fine, because we're going to go over it again, keep repeating myself. We're going to go over it with snow and other layers of stuff. So it's okay. As you're doing this, remember to stop and stir. And before, it looked like the blue paint wasn't going in well. I think that's because maybe that was dollar store quality acrylic. Once I mixed in the black paint, which is from I believe Michael's, it's a little bit better quality, but it's acrylic as well. So that acrylic mixed with the crappy blue acrylic, and it behaved like a solvent, and now everything looks fine. We had this part where we spilled over here. We're just going to go over it. It'll be a dark spot, but again, we'll go over it anyway. Let me just make sure. Okay. Making sure we're recording. I have done these videos and realized afterwards I forgot to hit record. I was watching somebody, they started a Minecraft. Yeah, a little bit. It pooled in here. Let me get that out. They started a Minecraft series, and they forgot to hit record. But he had already done so much stuff, so he was saying how he had to start all over. It was interesting because, on my other channel where I do gaming, right now we have Skyrim Nolvus, the mod pack Nolvus in vanilla. We took vanilla Skyrim and added a mod pack to it. I'm sure you guys know what that is. If you don't, you can look it up. I'm going to walk to the other side here. And I thought about it and I was like, one thing I would like is just where I can just play a game where I'm just building stuff all the time. So even my grandkids were like, oh, you probably like Minecraft. So I started playing Minecraft. And I think, boy, let me tell you, the learning curve on that was awful. That was the first time I played with a keyboard and mouse. It was not. Monkey with a chainsaw, let me tell you. Now, when you're over here, you want to kind of rub it in and get it in there, and then wipe your brush up here maybe. I know it's a little bit out of view. And then come back over and pick up some of the excess liquid. Okay, I'm going to move the camera a little bit and come over here. And then this is going to be a short video because, you're just going to, I could do that thing where you speed it up and everything. But what I'm going to do is stop filming, take the memory card out, the SD card, take it upstairs and make sure the damn thing recorded. I swear, a few times. Let's see here it is. Go right up over here and back here. I love these little thingies. They keep me in view of where you guys can see. There we go. I've done these videos where I'm filming and then I go upstairs to where my gaming computer is and where all the videos are processed, only to find out that they're corrupted for some reason. This isn't the greatest camera. I've complained about it before. I think in the next month or two, I may finally get a better camera. But man, they're so expensive. It's like either I get another cheapo and take my chances, or I break down and get like a Canon or something. And those are close to $1,000. Everything's so expensive right now. Again, we're pushing the paint in here. Then you can wipe it off here. Oh, there you go. See, I hit the camera. Hold on. There we go. Wipe off the excess material, then go back over. Pick it up. Wipe it off. Pick it up. Wipe it off. Okay, so what that's done is you can see even on this crappy resolution of this camera that you can see all the grooves and stuff that we've carved in there for the glacier. They're coming out nicely. Kind of what we want. We'll come over here, get in there. Now, if we get to the part of snow and we see, okay, well, we're covering up all this work we did, we can make new ones. I have tested this out on a smaller piece, so that shouldn't happen. All right, so now, let me turn the camera again a little bit. Let's go into this glacier here. Not the glacier, sorry, the trench. Let me go, come this way. There we go. Okay. And if it pulls a little bit, that's okay. That's okay. So you see it's a little smeary looking, right? Like we're not getting the greatest coverage. So what we might have to do is I'm just going to stir. What you heard there was me wiping off little drops. We'll put some more paint on there. You can pull it in there if you like. Okay, and I'm going to angle the camera a little bit again because we're going to do these side walls here. And then you'll see once we start adding the light white and the light blue snow and maybe some rock texture, I think this is going to look fantastic. Now I'm kind of just scouring, wiping, pushing the brush in here, trying to get all this, get rid of the paint. Don't want to see any more paint. And we may have to come back and do this again. In fact, especially for the floor here, I can already see there's a lot there. Let's turn the camera again. This time, let's come on this side. There we go. That's a good view. Well, I'm so glad there's more subscribers now. I mean, we're up to, I think I have 31. Somebody made a comment. I will answer that, as I said before. Work has been somewhat busy. That's a good thing. That is a good thing. This is not the greatest economy. I've got a relative by marriage who lost their job a couple months ago, and well, not a couple months ago. I think it was like August, and they're still looking. They're still looking. It's just it's hard out there. I don't let people walk all over me at work, but at the same time, you got to take some of the bullshit, you know. Let me tell you, the grass is not always greener on the other side. We've had a lot of people that have left and realized later they shouldn't have. If you got an asshole at work that's bothering you, I guarantee there'll be a new one at your other job. And if there are no assholes at your job, you know what that means? It means you're the asshole. Trust me, I know I am one. Okay, so kind of just want to give you an idea of what I'm going to do. I'm not going to sit here and film an hour of me just sitting here painting. Now, where that black part spilled a little bit, you can see the reflection there. Oh, the shadow, I mean. Moving the light around. It looks a bit darker. Obviously, I spilled some black paint there. We're going to paint over that. We've got some smears over here and over here. Again, we're going to make another layer and go over that. And I will probably film that as well. But before we go, let's move the camera. Okay, so before we go, I wanted to get into this deeper spot here. I'm trying to, maybe if I angle it this way. Yeah, I should do it. I should do it. So this is a little bit different. So for this one, because if you know some of this is surface, real like a millimeter or so deep. This part is several millimeters. So you're gonna have to take the brush and just really wet it and get it in there, slosh it around a little bit. And don't worry if it pulls on you. I mean, unless you got to stop, then don't do it because it's going to solidify. It's going to dry on you. If you get a little pooling, we'll show you here in a minute. Okay, so I got a lot of paint in the grooves here. We'll wipe it off here, come back through, wipe it off there, come back through. So we're picking up the leftover paint and just putting it back, putting it over here, right? Don't want to waste it. And we did such a good job carving this out. I don't want to lose the sharp roughness of the look. Okay, if I just walk away now, this paint's going to dry and it's kind of pooling and rounding off some of the jagged edges, and I don't want to do that. When the Imperials are going through here and get stuck, which I will put a few figures in there, make it look like they're stuck, I want it to make it look like they're suffering. Because Vader don't care if his troops suffer, right? All right, let me check my camera angle here. Yep, that's good. We'll come over here. So you got some pink there. Got some pink there. Going into it there. Okay. Got a little pink there. Now, as you're doing this, I don't know if you can see right here, little piece of foam flew off. It's okay. We'll just brush it out the way. And then we'll just keep doing this. Okay, you get the idea. All right. I wanted to, since we've got some new subscribers and we had like, you know, a couple hundred, about 100 views, not a couple hundred. We had 100 views on the last video, which did better than all the others. I thought, well, I got to keep going, right? People are looking at it. What I'm going to do is finish using this one. And then, like I said, I got some Excel spreadsheets and chemistry stuff to work on. So I'm going to go upstairs and do that. We'll cover this and then we'll show you what it looks like when it dries. And then I will probably make another video to show going over this again. Another probably like a 15-20 minute one like this one. This one might be 30. And after that, we will do the ridges. That'll be a different video, different color. And then then I have to stop again and decide how we're going to do the snow. And some of the, you know, got to come up with a good mix. Okay, so I was going to leave this for the next one, but then I thought, well, that's kind of dumb, isn't it? After I'm finished painting this, why not show the end result? My brain just wasn't working, which is most days. So I went through and I painted. You can still see some pink here and there, but I texted a friend of mine who had a minor in art, and she said that it's probably best to not try to get all the pink because it'll just be more color variation once I start doing some other stuff. She said that she goes skiing up in the Rockies, I guess, and I mean, depending on the time of day, some of the snow does have kind of a pink effect. So we kind of left it like this. Fix that a little bit. We had to move it away from the wall because we were going to get paint on the wall, and I didn't want paint on my wall. We did the trenches. We did this. There's a lot of color variation. Uh, Looks like the blue paint, which was cheapo dollar store acrylic paint, was pooling at the bottom of the cup, and I kept having to stir. So at the end, I had this big pool of that phthalo blue, and then I added a little bit more water to it, a little PVA, thinned it out, and just kind of went over stuff, especially in the deep crevices and whatnot. So there you go. This is going to dry. I will, at the beginning of the next episode, we'll see what it looks like dry, completely dry. We should put a little bit more here. There's a little bit missing here, and probably like right over there. But PVA, when it's bonding to polystyrene, you should give it about 24 hours. Now, if you work fast enough and you put on one layer and you did it fast enough, let's say you did it in 15 minutes, and that tackiness of it has not, that level is very low after 15 minutes, maybe even 30. It depends on how much PVA you add to the mixture. In our case, we had probably, I said 20%, but I think it's closer to 25. If you have more in there, it's going to get tacky faster because there's more glue, right? And acrylic will bind with that, and there'll be time variations in how quickly it's going to set. But point is, if I did this in 15 minutes and then came back over and did it again within over the next 15, that's 30 minutes, and then leave it, you're fine. If I do this, let's say at 1 o'clock, and then at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, I decide I'm going to go touch it up. No, you don't want to do that. If that's the case, just let it dry 24 hours and then come back and do it. So as the solvent in the polymer is evaporating, it's linking together. Okay, that's how polymers work. And it's going to make a nice bound tight layer after 24 hours. Certain things might even take a week, depending on what you plan on doing with it. Like if you were making polystyrene armor to wear, the longer you let that stuff sit in between before putting another layer, the better it is, and the stronger it is. Okay. What else? So next episode, this should be dry. And between now and then, I may put a second layer, or I may show you that at the beginning of the next episode. Then while that's drying, we'll do the ridges. I don't want to make a 2-hour episode and sit here and paint the ridges too. And mainly because it's almost 3 o'clock, and I got a few other things, as I mentioned, I have to do today. So, but I said it before and I'll say it again. Thank you to the new subscribers. Welcome. I hope you enjoy it. Everybody, please make suggestions. Be nice about it. I had a guy make a comment on my gaming channel the other day, and to which I made comments that, I enjoy his mom's OnlyFans page. So, don't make me be mean to you. My grandkids got a laugh out of that one. Trying to think of what else to tell you. This looks, I'm very happy with it. This is the color variation. Depending on what it is you're building, natural glaciers, natural dirt, canyons, snow field, they're not all one color. Okay, so even this part here where I said I need to put some more, it's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Because when we put the snow layer on, that's going to have some variation. I'm thinking of getting some fine sand and make different batches, like a little bit of blue, maybe a little bit of silver, maybe even a little dash of pink here and there, just to give the snow a variation. We're going to experiment with that. So like over here where we didn't get as much deep blue, we'll make it extra white or something. And then over here where we did in here, well, as the rebels are marching back and forth, that snow is should turn kind of a grayish or a blackish color in some spots, just like it does, when you're driving down the street here in snow, hence the term black ice. So um, I think that's it. Trying to think of other stuff to tell you. As far as getting to the end of this build, another coat here, paint the ridges, another coat there, and then on the ridges we'll touch up with some reds and yellows and whatnot because rock is multicolored, depending on where it is, and then we'll do the snow. And once we get the snow down, then we're going to put everything in place. We'll bring out our Star Wars stuff and we'll put it down and we'll take a look. Let's see how it looks. And then we'll start adding maybe some fake snow powder throughout, which, that also means if I ever pick this up and move it, we're going to have to vacuum that off. The white layer of snow we put down, that'll be permanent, right? But we'll get some snow powder just for some effects here and there. And I don't know how many more videos we're gonna have. I'm making about one a week. Sometimes I have to stop and think about some stuff, and then we'll do it. I'm trying to go for quality over quantity. I don't want to just put a video out for nothing. Some of the ridges had 2-3 videos because that's how I was doing it, right? So, and I wanted to show you how to do that. Oh. In between, while I was painting, this is something I want to tell you. I noticed that when I had glued, so remember there's 2 sheets here that were cut in half, and then each 2 were glued together. I noticed that some of the glue that was done in the middle area probably didn't get enough air reaching to it, and so it didn't really stick. So what I did is I got my glue gun out, and along the edges in the bottom of the trenches, I added some glue, just so it's kind of like all the way around there, all the way around there, in here. You can't see it, but there's little blobs here, just to give it that little extra. And if you can see, I'm pulling on it and it's not detaching. Before it was kind of coming up a little bit. Oop, got a little paint on me there. And so I'm glad I remembered that. I want to tell you that. You do have to go back and touch up some things every now and then. Fortunately, we have not had anything catastrophic happen. So far, everything is going pretty well. I love the way the glaciers look. I love the way this first coat of paint came out. The terrain's cut very nicely. I'm very happy with that. So I think we're good. Okay, well, I'm just talking at this point. If you think of anything, advice on paint, advice on glue mixing with paint, mixtures, whatever, you've done this before, you might be better at it than me, feel free to say so in the comments. And I will see you next time. Like and subscribe, tell your friends, and hey, I'm going to go watch that latest episode of Star Trek Academy. I like that series, so I'm going to go eat some pizza and do that. All right, have fun, everybody. See you later.